Hey guys, what's going on? This is the 1971 Mustang update. It's been a while, I know. And I have basically come across a new mantra, I guess you might say. As David Freiberger of Motor Trend would say, don't get it right, just get it running. So that's exactly what the heck I've been doing. I know that in the beginning I gave you great hopes that I was going to record absolutely everything that I was doing, and I really kind of hoped to do it, but I'm just crushed for time. I'm so busy at work. I've got so many things going on right now. Oh yeah, you know how I say, hey, yeah, you need another project. No, you don't. You need a hole in your head is what you need. Well, guess what, guys? That's right. Another project. 1965 F100. It's got a 352 FE with a 3-speed on the tree, 9-inch 350 axle, all drum brakes. As you can see, it's in really good shape, actually, for considering what its year is. But anyway, point being is I don't really need to. I should not have gotten it, but I did because I couldn't refuse the price. And I'm not going to tell you because I'm going to sell it at some point and somebody's going to make me a lot of money. But anyway, here's what's going on here. So 1971 Mustang update here. The biggest thing that I guess I should tell you is that September 1st is the date that this thing will go into the body shop. If you've been following since the beginning, you know it went to the body shop, and you know that that didn't work out. I've been researching, and did I mention researching? People who I think will do the job and do the job right. And I think I found a guy, and he's going to do it at a fair price, and he's going to do it at a fair timeline, and he's pretty good at it. He's not the best, but he's, I mean, I'm talking like, you know, he's not like some Chip Foods or anything like that, but honestly, I don't really even like some of Chip Foods' work anyway. But anyway, my point is that I think I found a guy who's going to do it honestly and do what he says he's going to do. You know, do it at least the way I want it, which is the utmost durable way possible. I want durable. I don't really want show car. I want nice car, but I want durable. That's the biggest thing I want. And we've been talking, I don't know if it's going to happen, but we've been talking about putting like a bed liner kind of coating down here on the bottom, you know, rocker down here, and then putting the color over the top of it so you can, you know, barely see it. Again, that's something we've been discussing and talking about. Haven't really decided if that's exactly what we're going to do, but he's going to, you know, do all the body work and all the paint, and it's going to be Snapper Rocks Blue, BMW Snapper Rocks Blue. And as far as the trim, I haven't decided yet. It's either going to be black or it's going to be charcoal, and I think charcoal is where I'm going. It's not going to be matte or flat or satin. It's going to be gloss, because the Snapper Blue is going to be clear coat gloss. So I want the black or charcoal, which again, I'm aiming for charcoal to be the same. And I'm going with charcoal because nobody does. Everybody goes with black, especially flat black or matte black or argent black, whatever you want to call it. But that's what usually is done, and I want to do something different than everybody else. So, okay, so why am I giving you an update? Well, you can see here that if it's been a while, but I think you guys knew that I dropped the engine in. The fuel tank is sitting there because instead of masking off the fuel tank, I took it out so that way I didn't have to mask when I do the undercoating. Because basically what I've been doing is I'm getting this thing ready to take it to the body shop. So I'm trying to be messy, as you can clearly see. I am being pretty messy here, and all the you know, Eastwood rust encapsulator spray, and you know, just all that stuff that I'm spraying around, and it's getting pretty sloppy, you know, inside here, etc. But I don't care, because when I'm done, he's going to come along and sand and body work and all that stuff, and and you know, paint it blue. And then I don't want to be doing this anymore, because if I do it, as you can see, it gets messy, and I got to do all the masking and, you know, protection to make sure I don't get any on the blue paint. So that is my goal right now, is to get as much done as possible, as far as I can, in order to get this thing ready for body and paint. So what was my goal here this weekend? Well, the goal this weekend is, as you recall, we did the lower quarters here, and we did outer wheel houses as well. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to come inside here and put a seam sealer inside there, and especially right there where the inner and outer meet. It doesn't fit quite as tight as it did at the factory. I remember it being very, very good. I've got a little bit of a gap up on top, but as you can see, I got a good seam sealer here, and I'm going to be doing seam sealer up on top, as well as some you know, Eastwood rust encapsulator and all kinds of stuff, and you won't even notice it. It's going to lock it up. It's going to lock it down exactly the way I want. So what I ended up doing here is that I ended up welding all this, and then I took and hammered over the edges here as much as I could, so that way I could get about the fattest tire in there, or at least have something to where there's not a sharp edge sticking clear out here. And got it all rounded as much as I could. And then I use POR patch. If you've ever heard of patch, it comes in a 4-ounce tube, and it's like a paste. It's like almost like an RTV look is what it looks like. And you paste it inside of places, and I pasted it inside of the seams there before I did the seam sealer, actually. And I did it especially right here at this lip here, where the outer wheelhouse comes down and meets the quarter. That's really where I did it a lot. I packed it in here real good, so there's not much of a U-channel groove back there. In fact, it's more of a, I mean, I'm not gonna stick the camera in it because it's not enough light, but it made it very high, I guess you might say, so that when all the water and mud and everything goes in there, it doesn't actually sit down inside of a channel inside here. The other thing about that POR patch is that it dries very, very, very hard. So, you know, the joint there in between there gives it some strength, and also, you know, basically like a glue out here as well. And it fills in any holes, which, as you can see here, I missed this one. Unbelievable, right? I might have a little bit of patch left that I can just push into that hole, but, or I just might let him handle it, and it's his problem, because after all, that's what he's going to be doing. So did the patch, the POR patch. Then what I did is I grabbed the Eastwood Platinum, or I'm sorry, the seam sealer, and I put the seam sealer over all the welds, all the spots where panels come together, all the seams, you name it, everything. And then what I did was I grabbed the Eastwood Platinum, and I took Eastwood Platinum and I put one coat over everything. I scratched it all up really good, especially the black primer, this stuff right here that was on the outer wheelhouse. And I put one coat, nice thick coat of Eastwood Platinum up in there. And then I grabbed the POR rubberized undercoating aerosol, and I put about 3 coats inside here is what I did. And I mean, I did the platinum, and I had to go to my daughter's function, so when I got back, it was pretty dry. There were a few spots where it was kind of tacky, but it was pretty dry. And then I just started spraying the POR 15 rubberized undercoating and the aerosol. I think it's a 21-ounce can, and I was spraying it everywhere. I was using like a straw on it, you know, to get back here to aim it. I was also using the regular nozzle to spray it, you know, everywhere. And of course, you know, trying to block. I got a little bit of stuff on my sway bar and whatnot. I don't care. I mean, it's going to wear off, trust me. And nobody's ever going to... This is not a show car. Like I said, this is a using car. I mean, is that bad? Oh, I don't know. I honestly think it'll come off after I drive it in the rain or snow or whatever I'm going to drive it in. Because, again, this car is going to be my driver. But anyway, my biggest thing is I want to seal this up to where obviously rust and all that kind of stuff stops, right? So It's got about 3 coats of that POR 15 rubberized undercoating. And then I had 2 Napa rubberized undercoating. I think it was 907, I think is the number on it. I don't really quite remember, but the reason why I bring it up is I had 2 cans of that, and I never did like it really, as far as like when you spray it on, it does, like the POR 15 here. This is the POR 15 rubberized undercoating right here, and if you know, it splatters out there and it makes a texture, and I like that texture, especially for, you know, something like this, or inside here, you know, this area right there. And when you put your fingernail on it, I mean, it's soft, you know, it's hard. It's definitely cured, but it's a little bit soft, you know. And of course, there's also a like a paint that I put over this, and I actually use this rattle can right here. I use Krylon Fusion Satin Black. That's the spray paint that I use to go over most everything. I mean, as you can see, I got a whole line of stuff here, but this is the one that I was using high heat and I couldn't find any more. I tried this Ace Platinum Paint Primer. I hated this. This stuff doesn't, well, this is almost empty, but I'm using it just for junk. I had some high heat stuff, and I really thought that was going to work good, but it didn't stick very good either. Was disappointed with this. So the best one I found was this Krylon Fusion All-in-One. For me, this one here seems to be the strongest, in my opinion, as far as, you know, I mean, I've actually accidentally bumped this a couple times and chipped it a little bit, but I mean, I'm talking like metal to metal hit, you know, with my engine stand that I had over here, you know, so that's to be expected. But I mean, I remember when the Ace premium whatever stuff, and I spray painted this thing right here, this whole area, this, you know, to hold on to my steering column, and that stuff was just peeling off. I could just take my fingernail and start, and it just peeled off. And I had it sandblasted. I sprayed on a primer, and then I used that. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. Now I've used a can't remember what it was called, Russ, I can't remember, but it was at Speedway Motors. It's a lot like POR 15. I used it after I blasted it again, because I got a B-blast cabinet. I blasted it again, and I put that on, and then I put that Fusion on as that other stuff was wet, actually. And you can see there, it's still on there. It still looks great, and it's pretty durable. I've scratched it. I've bumped it. I haven't been able to see any chips or scratches in it, so that's good stuff. Let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, we were talking about the POR 15 rubberized undercoating, and then, like I said, I had 2 cans of Napa rubberized undercoating in my cabinet, and I never liked it because, again, what happened was when you sprayed it on, and it's weird because you spray it on and it's brown, and then it turns black, I guess, as it cures, but it never really cures. That's what I didn't like about it. You saw me go over there and touch it, and it would, you know, I mean, I didn't get anything on my hands, right? I can remember the Napa stuff you spray in there, and it remains soft. I've never seen it cure really hard. And, you know, this is the last time I'm going to be in here, basically. And because I did the same thing to the entire undercarriage as far as the seam sealer, the platinum, the POR, and the satin paint, you know, I figured, well, hey, it's taking up room in my cupboard, and it's actually causing me to not be able to, you know, store more stuff that I want to use, actually. And so I put the 2-3 coats of POR 15 rubberized undercoating in there, and then I just went ahead and sprayed those 2 cans, 1 can on this side and 1 can on that side of that Napa undercoating. And again, I don't care if it's rubbery inside here, in a way, and soft, because I don't care. I mean, I'm actually want it that way, I guess. You know, the tire to spit rocks in here or whatever, or water, it doesn't matter as long as it coats it and sticks. That's all I care about. And that Napa stuff is sticky. It's slimy, and it's you know, it doesn't wash off very easy. So I just went ahead and sprayed it in there to get rid of it and get it used up, and then I sprayed that Fusion right over the top. So I sprayed it up here inside the wheelhouse area, okay? Then, because of all the welding that I did down here, this area, I don't know, doesn't look like the camera's adjusting very well, but there's a area right here where I had welded like right there, and it got really hot and it started burning out some of that old platinum and undercoating and all that stuff. I mean, after all, it was cherry red hot, so I don't blame it. But you know what, it didn't burn off like a large area, it just burned off a little area. I took a wire brush and scraped and flaked off whatever fell off, and then I put, you know, again, more seam sealer in it, more platinum over the top of it, and more POR 15 Napa undercoating, and then the satin stuff from Krylon. And also I did all of this, like I told you. I took this fuel tank out so I could just, you know, spray up there, and if it went up here and missed, it would hit the, you know, the trunk floor area, which is already done technically. And then I also put it right here, and also because of all the welding that I did up in here, and the camera's not adjusting, sorry about that. There we go, that's a little bit better. But all the welding that I did up in there also burned some of the stuff that I had already done. So again, I just threw a bunch of seam sealer up there, brushable. I used that Eastwood. Actually, I ran out of Eastwood, and I went down to Napa, and I bought a can of Napa, and it's actually pretty good stuff. As a matter of fact, I would almost say just as good as the Eastwood. I got it right over here. As a matter of fact, got some left. Let's see here. There we go. Got the Napa 4200 Martin Sanur Pro brushable seam sealer in gray, and this is really good stuff. I started out with the Eastwood, and I used it on pretty much everything, plus on my son's 80 Cobra over there. That's a whole nother story for another video. But anyway, I started with that, and I ran out, and I went to order some, and at the time they were out of stock. And I just happened to be at Napa one day, and I went and looked, and I saw this. And I've always used Martin Sanur a long time ago, and it was a pretty good stuff, I thought. So I went ahead and got it, and it's actually really good stuff. And it was only, I think it was only $24 for that can, which is about what I paid. I think $20 for Eastwood. And then, of course, you know, you got to have it shipped. I'm happy with it. So now, as you can see here, there it is. This is that Napa brushable seam sealer right there, and it's also right here. The first time around, actually, when I didn't know that this tail light panel was all rusted out, I went ahead and welded that thing solid all the way across. But then, as you can see here, I ended up replacing it. But this time I only did little tack welds here every 3 to 6 inches or so. And then I'm going to use the brush seam sealer this time. Now, my plan is I'm going to go ahead and take and put platinum over the top of this, all over the seam sealer and everything. After I clean it up, I'm going to put platinum over the top of those seams right there. And actually, I need to put some seams. I was going to put some brushable seam sealer on this too, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll just use the platinum and just goop it on there really hard and heavy. I'm going to do the platinum down in the bottom of those cavities because that's where a lot of moisture will set. But I probably won't come up much higher than the top of the trunk floor right there. This is where my battery over here is actually going to sit. I'm going to have my battery there. So, but I want to have the platinum down inside there. I don't think I'm going to go with the platinum over the top of that. You can see I did it over here, but that was because this is all original metal right here. So I definitely wanted to use platinum there because there was some surface rust on it, but that's all new stuff over there. So once I get the seam sealer everywhere, which I pretty much got at this point, I'll get the platinum put in over the top of these seam sealer and everything. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that POR rubberized undercoating, and I'm going to spray it everywhere. I'm going to spray it the entire trunk floor. It'll have, and I'm going to spray on the side here, and I'm going to try to go as far up front as I can, and up on top, and most importantly, try to get it down into that seam right there, because that's where all the moisture will come up through from the wheel well inside the underneath where the wheels and tires are at, or up on top here. So try to get that super sealed from both sides. I mean, I think I did pretty good under here with that POR undercoating and paste or patch and all that stuff. But now I'm gonna do the same thing in here, but it will be that POR 15 rubberized undercoating, because I want this right here. I want this look in my trunk, and I will not paint over it. I will leave that alone, and I will have the guy who is going to be doing the body and paint spray paint this inside here, the Snapper Blue, BMW Snapper Rocks Blue, and I'll have him just spray as far back in there as he can. Everywhere I'm going to have the, I'll have it on the back here as far as the, POR 15 rubberized undercoating. I want this whole thing to look stippled like that. I probably won't go up here, probably leave that alone. But everything that's, gravity downwards, I'm going to definitely be spraying that stuff. And it'll make this thing look really cool, I think, and especially after he puts the color over it. So this is where I am currently with the 1971 Mustang. So now you have been updated, and you know how I've been doing it, and you know where it's headed. So at this point, after I get this done, I'll get that trunk done, and then after I get the trunk done, I'm going to start getting the fenders out, putting them on, lining them up. I've got a couple holes to make over there because I replaced that one battery tray on the one side, inner fender. Let's see, get the hood on. I got to start getting things lined up and put on, so that way when I take it into him, it's all on the car. Number one, that'll be the best way to transport it, and then he can remove it as he needs to, I guess, and kind of go from there. But also, I think I might do some prep by getting rid of some of the paint on the fender and these doors. And I've got some questions for him on how to prepare the inside of those doors, because by the way, these 1971 Mustang, at least the 71, my 71, has that guardrail system in here. Okay, I don't know if you heard about it, but maybe do a little research. There's like a guardrail in there. They called it the safety rail or something like that, so that way if side impact you're not going to die or whatever. I don't know how, but that was the idea of the 71. Also, they sprayed that thick almost like undercoating stuff on the skin of the door here, and a lot of it is still in there. I can't remember which door it is, but one door is starting to peel in one spot. I'm going to try to leave it there as much as possible, but I want to see what I can do about maybe spraying that POR 15 undercoating over the top of it to kind of, seal in whatever rust is there now, but also just to keep it from, chipping and falling apart any further than it already is. So, but I need to talk to him about that. Those windows in there, the glass is there, as you can see, but I did a bunch of welding on the rotisserie, and I left the glass in, and that was my mistake. And there's just a whole bunch of weld pitting on these windows. These windows are going to have to be replaced. So that was fine, because I was planning on buying tinted glass anyway. Anyway, so there you go. And that's what's going on. Like, subscribe, rumble, and come back for more, because I'm going to have a lot more for you.